Okay, and we are live. Always a little bit disconcerting waiting for that to happen. Welcome to We Are Careers. We're going to be doing introductions in a minute, but welcome back. If you've not seen the show before, do a really quick rundown of what we're going to be talking about today. But we're really excited about today's episode because it's the first time that we've done it. It is our We Are Careers book club. We're going to be talking a little bit more about what that involves as we go through the show. But just to give a quick rundown of today's show, in a week where, or sort of a past kind of week and a half where we've had some momentous news across the pond from elections, there has, of course, been an even more important set of elections going on within our own CDI membership. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that later in the show. We're going to be covering our main topic, which is the book club. And of course, we're also going to be having a big shout out to one of our members, which ties in a little bit with one of the other segments. So I don't want to give anything away. And then, of course, we're going to be rounding things off with all of our usual CDI news and main news from across the CEIAG sector. It's also worth mentioning, if you've kind of tuned into our past couple of episodes, we've been focusing on home nation. So we had Carolyn Parry from Wales and Dr. Pete Robertson from Scotland. The reason that we're not doing a Northern Ireland one in this week's show is we're still waiting for somebody from the careers community in Northern Ireland to get in touch with us to hopefully come and talk about some of the great careers work that's going on over there. So if you are a Northern Ireland member of the CDI, or you know someone who is, and you think they might be good, or you might be good for kind of coming on here and talking a little bit about the careers work in Northern Ireland, please do get in touch with us, reach out to us. It would be great to have you on, particularly before the end of the calendar year. So do get in touch with us. So that really kind of covers our sort of summary for the show. For those who've not watched it before, my name's Chris Webb. I'm an employability advisor at Sheffield Hallam University. I'm a registered career development professional with the CDI, of course. And as always, I'm joined by my brilliant co-host, meet Sabiha. So Sabiha, over to you.
Thank you. We are the duo that brings you fortnightly your latest CDI news and also general news, what's happening in the sector as well. My name is Sabiha. I work in 12 different countries as a registered career development practitioner, and I specialize in working with young people who are looking to transform their career potential. And also I'm creator of the 4.0 Class Academy, which is all about upskilling career guidance counselors, helping them deliver powerful career support to students. And I want to encourage members, and I can already see in the chat already, we're getting a few hellos coming in. So if you can hear us and see us, hit the like and share button and pop on over and say what it is that you are looking to learn today. And if you are reading any particular books, then please do drop the names of the titles in the chat comments, and let's see if the ones that myself, Chris and Dave have selected resonate with any of you. And as Chris mentioned, we have the fabulous current CDI president, and I'm hoping there isn't going to be the same tussle as we've seen across the pond, as we have a new president-elect that we're going to be introducing shortly. So Dave, do you want to introduce yourself and share with us a fun fact about yourself that perhaps maybe members don't know about you?
Okay, yeah, thank you very much, Sabiha. Yeah, so I mean, most people know me as president of the CDI, and of course, I'm a registered career development professional, and I've worked for 20 years in the profession, so I'm genuinely really passionate about it, and very much. I work a lot with adults who are stuck in their career, and I work with young people as well, and we work with school leadership teams. But outside of work, I'm an ex-cartographer. I used to make maps of Africa. I'm an ex-computer systems developer, so this is my third career. But I'm a mountaineer and an explorer. I've had some fabulous experiences in the very high mountains of the Andes and the Himalayas and other ranges. And apart from that, I'm a scouter. Always help with scouting in some capacity or another. At the moment, as chairman of a scout group, and I teach swimming on the side as well. For one of those accidental things where someone said, just help out for a couple of weeks, and that was 5 years ago now. So, and then I've got two great kids, one of whom at sixth form college now, and one of whom's in year 9. But fun fact probably is, well, it's not only is it my wedding anniversary today, 19 years, but it's exactly, right now, 19 years ago, I was there saying I do. So, and we were in line with what a way to celebrate here, to be with you fabulous people. But we were heading off, in linking with my mountaineering and exploration, we were heading to the Antarctic on our honeymoon. So we spent our honeymoon with penguins and seals and killer whales and things. And I took part in an expedition, and we repeated, we were one of the first groups to repeat Shackleton's epic trek across the South Georgia ice cap at the end of his, I don't know if you know the story, but he was basically, they were lost for 18 months on the sea ice, and that was the final bit of his thing. So I guess that's my fun fact for today.
Oh, wow. You make me feel, and I think Lynn and a few others are just joining in right now saying congratulations, Dave. And I think both Chris and I will join in with that. And I think one Facebook user just said, happy anniversary, Dave. Bet you are glad you said I do, not just in terms of wedding, but also to all the other opportunities which have come your way. Congratulations. So yeah, and then we've got Lynn Tulip saying congratulations, Dave. What an adventurer you are. You are, Dave. You're making me feel as if I'm super boring, and particularly this year, as not much has happened during lockdown. I think the biggest mountain I've climbed is up the stairs to the master bedroom, so so that's about as adventurous as I feel I've got this year. So hopefully next year we can all take a leaf out of your book and get a bit adventurous, right? Yeah, see, Chris is crossing his fingers together. Now, we always ask all of our guests to share with us a feel-good story, because we know there's lots of doom and gloom out there, so we don't need to focus on that. And what we want to do is we want to celebrate good practice, inspiration, innovation. So Dave, what's your feel-good story this week?
My feel-good story actually involves a number of people here, some of whom may be watching live, some of whom may watch on the catch-up. But it involves our regional reps, because I really feel that over the last year, they have been such a feel-good factor for our community, for our profession, and for the wider people we serve. And I've been privileged enough. I've been to Fiona Arnold's meeting in Yorks and Humber, and I think Chris, you were presenting on that, creative career coaching. I've been to Derek Osborne's meetings down in the southeast, and recently talking about resilience. And I'm looking forward, I hope, to going in as president and as a member to learn from the other groups. So can I just run through briefly just who those regional reps are, because I think they all deserve a shout out. So we've got Carolyn Parry in Wales, we've got Pete Robinson in Scotland, and we've got Fiona, I just mentioned, in Yorks and Humber, and Derek in the southeast. We've got Roma G in South Central, we've got Emma LeBlanc in the east of England, Eva Harrison in west of England, Rebecca Orterson in the East Midlands, Vicky Woodings, Laura Radford and Pippa Ulner in the southwest, Suzanne Leach, Ruth Wyndon, Mark Fox in the northeast, and Kay Maddox in London. And I really, really hope I haven't missed anyone, because you are all fabulous people. And for everybody else watching, connect with these people. They're doing a fabulous job. It's a great way to network with other people in our community. And grow your CPD, create connections, maybe collaborations. And so big shout out. Thank you to all our regional reps.
100%. Here. Yeah. I mean, I think what I love about that is, funnily enough, Dave, I think you read the show notes, because the news story number one was to celebrate and to promote. So if by any chance any names were missed, or you're wondering, or perhaps maybe you didn't catch the name of your regional rep, there is a website link which is going to be included in, as always, in the resources document that we put up after the show, and the link to the page on the CDI website where all the names and the photographs and the bio information is included in that document. So look out for that, because as Dave said, yes, definitely 100%. They are a wealth, a fountain of knowledge, these regional reps. So it's definitely worth connecting with. And sort of following on from that, so obviously each week we pick a feel-good story, and as Chris pointed out at the start of the show, how can we not talk about our biggest election story, which is that this week on Monday, was it Monday or Tuesday? Within the last 48 hours anyway, our new president-elect was nominated and has been announced. And so we wish to welcome the amazing, the fabulous, the most passionate, and I mean, she is passionate, because she convinces you to do things that you had no intention of doing. And that is the wonderful, wonderful Welsh rep, but also now the new incoming president-elect, Carolyn Parry. So congratulations, everybody. And if you're watching live right now, please do drop a clapping emoji in the comments below so that we can welcome your new president. And watch out, because I suspect there are going to be many, many fabulous that both Dave and Carolyn will be working together on. Because if I understand rightly, Dave, there's sort of a transition period where the two of you work together. Is that correct?
Yeah, unlike that other less important election, we actually are very aligned in our passion for the industry. I'm delighted to welcome Carolyn in as president-elect, and we worked together for a year. So I'm now entering my final year as president, and then Carolyn will take over as president in a year's time, and she'll be formally welcomed as president-elect at the AGM, which is on the 7th of December.
Fabulous, 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 fabulous. So without further ado, I want us to jump right on into today's show's topic, which is, what are your favorite career books and why? And so, Chris, I know you've got some questions for Dave. So over to you, Chris.
Fab, I think hopefully, yeah, it looks like Carolyn's posted in the group, so we have got her with us, which is great. So if you're here watching, Carolyn, which it looks like you are, great to have you as president-elect, and yeah, hope you enjoy the rest of the show. So yeah, moving swiftly on, as Sabiha mentioned, with the kind of topic of today, we've gone for a slightly different approach. This was something we already had kind of tabled in at the end of the year, but it's the We Are Careers Book Club, and we've been talking about, what careers books, we really enjoy, which, books, really kind of meant something to us and sort of inspired us in our kind of careers practice, both kind of careers related and non-careers related. So we thought, what a great opportunity to have our CDI president on, talk about some of the key books that have inspired him. And as Sabiha's mentioned, if you're watching this and you're on the chat at the moment, do share with us as we go through the show. Tell us, what are your favorite careers or non-careers related books that have inspired you with your practice? So Dave, to kick things off, I know you've got a couple of books you want to share with us today. Do you want to go through maybe the first book and tell us a little bit what you've got and what it's about?
Absolutely. Yeah, I've actually got a whole pile of books, so we could be here all afternoon, and I know you guys are the same. And there were, I just want to mention one book that someone posted when I posted a thing about books a while ago. Someone put in a kid's book called You Choose, and I just thought that was a fabulous book, for young kids in careers. But my first book is this one. If I can get it in, there we go. An Astronaut's Guide to Life on Earth by Chris Hadfield. And it's not specifically a careers book, but it's got so many fabulous careers messages in, and particularly I think for older people as well as young people, the message is, if you've got a dream, don't let anyone squash it, and carry on and pursue it. And Chris Hadfield was a Canadian kid who decided at the age of 9 that he wanted to be an astronaut at a time when nobody but an American was ever going to be an astronaut. The program wasn't even open to non-Americans, and he went on and became the commander of the space station. So he followed that impossible dream, and I think for one of my mantras is, sometimes when I've got these dreams and people say, well, how is it going to happen? I say, well, I don't know how it's going to happen, but it'll happen. And you've just got to keep taking those steps. And I think that was the thing, was he kept moving towards that dream. And he shares some of his sort of philosophies about teamwork and about paying attention to the detail when you need to, about the importance of practicing things. The things that we do with all of our clients when, for example, we're helping them prepare for interview, you've got to practice so that you get these things right. And, in his case, it was a life or death situation. So, and I think the other thing was that it was about the team, and the importance, the thing that comes throughout the book is he listened to other people as well. So it was all about the other people who weren't necessarily part of his organization, but they were part of his team in the wider sense of the word.
Just realised I'm on mute. Sorry, Dave. No, absolutely. I think it's so interesting, isn't it, how many people sort of say that the books that really kind of inspire them from a career perspective are often ones that are maybe not connected at all to the work they do, but as you say, just have those kind of really universal messages.
Yeah.
About what success means to people, about what it means to kind of deal with adversity and all those sort of things. And I think, Sabiha, you've got a book as well, which is maybe not directly careers related, but also you feel has kind of got a lot of really important messages from a careers perspective.
I do. Oh, thank you for that, Chris. And I'm just coming in because we've had a few comments in the thread just now. And I'm going to apologize because depending upon your settings on Facebook, we don't always get to see the names, hence why if I'm referring to you as Facebook user, that's the reason why. But we've already got somebody here saying that they've got the Chris Hadfield book. I love him so much. He's so easy to listen to. And then we've had, we've got Gina, who's talking about creative career coaching, theory into practice. And then we've got one Facebook user who's just saying, yes, yes, yes. I don't know what you're saying yes, yes, yes to, but we love it. And then we've got whom. Go on, sorry, Chris.
I was going to say, I love that. Who moved my cheese? One of my colleagues used to read that at work. I love the title.
Absolutely, that's a brilliant book. Who moved my cheese? There's another one. This just a quick one from my pile. This is another one that's worth looking at.
Go on, bring it in, put it in. Our iceberg.
Our iceberg is
okay.
But it's very much along the lines of Who Moved My Cheese, which is probably the classic book, isn't it, about mindset and change. So yeah, thanks for sharing that, whoever that Facebook user was.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for sharing that. And as you know, Chris said, Chris and Dave are both talking about, the books that are inspiring them. What's inspiring you? Please, we want to hear from you. Put those book names in there. What we'll do as well is the names that we're mentioning as well. It'll go in the resources document. I agree with on Liz, Who Moved My Cheese, really quick read and great to deal with. And that's the thing, isn't it? We're looking for, I'm just picking up on that comment that one of the users says, because it fits in with the book that I've chosen. And unfortunately, it's on my Kindle, so I don't have the actual copy. But if you just put it in, if you just put the title in, it does come up. Agree with Liz on Who Moved My Cheese, really quick read and great on dealing with change. And so I picked two particular books out of a whole host of books that I could have selected. And the reason why I picked the first one really is about, we talk, and I see this amongst my fellow peers and practitioners, where so many of us are invested in making sure that our clients, whoever those clients are that we serve, making sure that, in this challenging time that we have faced over the last sort of, 9 months or so, how do we equip them? How do we give them the tools to equip themselves so that they can feel good both mentally and physically to be able to pursue whatever career goals that they may have? But often as practitioners, we forget about ourselves. So this book that I picked is by Dr. Rangan Chatterjee. He is a British GP, and he wrote this book called Feel Better in 5. And it's all about creating a daily plan to feel great in your life. And what I love about it is and I hope this will resonate with our viewers today and those that are going to be watching this on playback, is that his advice in the book is easy to follow and it's easy to maintain. And it's all about bringing small life changes that require a small amount of willpower, but bring transformation and life changing. But it also allows, and I like to turn to this book because it gives me energizing activities and things to do so that I can be at optimum level, so that when I go in and when I jump onto a call or I do a webinar, I'm at sort of both mental and physical peak so that I can serve my clients the best as well. So that's what I love about this book. And he sort of created this, feel better in 5-minute concept on 3 pillars, which includes the mind, body, and heart. And it's a superb guide to, making lasting changes in your life. And what I love about it as well is not only does it help me as a practitioner, but I get to share that with my clients as well. So not only is it sort of helping me feel good about myself and, getting through, because there are some days, well, quite frankly, getting out of bed can be a bit of a challenge, and you're just like, and it's just, and now as well with the second lockdown that we're in, just how do we keep our energy and momentum going? So that was my choice for why I picked that particular book. And we're getting lots more feedback there as well, Chris. I'm going to let you pick up on that, the comments thread there.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, I think, Who Moved My Cheese is getting some real airtime, which is great. I mean, I particularly like this comment from Facebook user. An old boss of mine came into the office one day, told me to stop what I was doing and immediately go somewhere and read Who Moved My Cheese. So, I mean, I have to say, I've never actually read it all the way through. So I feel like this is prompting me to do it. I've only ever seen a colleague's copy, but some great stuff in there. All the books that are mentioned in the chat thread as well. So one Facebook user talked about The Gift by Dr. Edith Eger. Again, all of these things we will put in the show resources document that we'll put on the group later, so that everyone's suggestions are shared. I think what was really kind of telling this, Spear, about what you've said and what David said is that so often kind of the books that you're talking about here have that impact. It's kind of on a life basis, not just a work basis. You know, it really makes you kind of think about life in a slightly different way. And so one of the books that I've brought with me today is this one from Ed Smith. There we go, you can see it. It's called What Sport Tells Us About Life. Now, I'm a massive sports fanatic. I use a lot of sporting imagery metaphors in kind of some of the careers workshops and one-to-one appointments I do, because it's just what I'm obsessed with. But it's such a good book. And Ed Smith's an ex-England cricketer who then became a journalist for the Sunday Times. And the way that he writes it's so interesting, because all of the lessons that he talks about, it's just as an accessible book, even if you're not really a sports fan. So some of the chapters that he's got in here, which are particularly good, there is one that talks about, there we go, here we are, why luck matters and why admitting it matters even more. And it's so transferable to what we talk about in terms of your career and what we talk about in terms of the disadvantage gap, and you know how much people do off their own back, and actually how much of your success in life is built on connections and happenstance and luck. So it's so nice and really useful actually for using it as kind of a bit of a tool for connecting with people, connecting with clients, you know, in terms of kind of creating metaphors and imagery that sort of match, particularly if you've got people who are sport mad like me. These things I think just really resonate. And there's some great stuff in there as well about talent, the curse of talent, you know, people who are naturally talented versus those who have to work for it. And there's just some really great messages in there that you can then use as part of careers practice or just generally in life, you know, and there's some really nice stuff in there. So I highly recommend this one as well, What Sport Tells Us About Life. And I suppose, you know, the interesting thing about those three books is that they were all kind of linked to areas that are maybe not specifically kind of career practitioner handbooks. And Dave, I think you've actually got one extra book you want to share as well, which again is not directly careers related, but again, some good messages in.
Yeah, this is The Little Turn. So it's I'll just show you some of the imagery. There we go. The images in it and the drawings are beautiful, and it's the story of a little tern who loses the ability to fly and sort of goes through this process of self-discovery that, you know, I guess a lot of us, certainly the people that I work with, are often going through that process to say, well, you know, I've done something, but it wasn't what I always wanted to do. But what is that? And it's partly a reminder that there's beauty everywhere, and to sort of like that being in the moment can really get you and inspire you to come up with the things that make the difference going forward, to the ideas and the inspiration. But it's also about friendship and teamwork. And ultimately, I think the message for me is that the only thing that's stopping us getting where we want to go is what we're thinking up here and the blocks that we're putting in our own way. And that's such a sort of transformative message for clients as well, because often the only thing that's stopping them making the career move they want to make is what they believe is possible. And that's a book that I've found very gently and very almost subconsciously shifts their thinking.
Yeah, that's great.
And it's go on. Sorry. No, I was just going to say, I was just picking up on the feedback that we're getting in the comments thread, which is saying, love the sound of the little turn. And I often find that children's books have a powerful message that is not childish. And it's true, it doesn't matter who the audience is. It's about how we as practitioners can take that message, isn't it? And that's essentially, Dave, what I'm picking up from what you are saying is that, you know, it's, and Chris, even you with the sports metaphor, it's as practitioners, how can we connect with our clients? How can we connect with them? How can we find a story, a message that gives us that common ground to connect and say that we understand, even if it isn't something that we've been through, you know. And I'm getting some feedback here as well. Lynn, I think Liz did me a favor by putting the title in, so she's got it there. And again, just to reiterate what Liz is saying, yeah, we are going to be putting the titles in the resources document, which will get uploaded after the show. And then we've got another Facebook user saying some really interesting books here. Thanks, many for the growing list. Now speaking of lists, and someone mentioned Amazon, and as I say, I do use Amazon. When Chris and I were talking about putting together this show, Chris came across this amazing website that we do want to promote. And that's all about, so if there's any practitioners here that are watching the show live or they're watching on the replay, and you are thinking about ways of how you can support your local high street or local bookshop owners, there's this fabulous website that I'm going to let Chris talk about now, where you can do exactly that. Not only can you build your reading list, but you can also support your local community as well. So Chris, how can they do that?
Yeah, no, great question. I mean, we were going to talk about, where could people pick up these books, but someone's mentioned in the chat, of course, typically you go to Amazon, and I have to say the links that we'll put in the resource document are all from Amazon because it's an easy place to find the titles. But there's a new website called bookshop.org. It was launched in the US, first of all. It was all about kind of helping independent booksellers, particularly during the pandemic. Now, they weren't going to launch it in the UK until 2021. But obviously, with the national lockdown and with Christmas approaching, the people that are running the website thought, well, we need to move a little bit quicker. So if you've kind of had a look at bookshop.org, it's got a UK-based site. What it allows you to do is it allows you to find pretty much any title, and they have got a really wide variety of titles on there. But obviously, what you're doing by doing that is you're buying from independent booksellers. You can find your local bookseller and buy from them directly, or you can buy from the website, and it tells you how much of that money that you're spending is going directly to independent booksellers. They've even got a running tally, which I think is close to £100,000 already since they launched. It was only a couple of weeks ago. So great thing to use. I've used it already. They were brilliant in terms of kind of delivery, a little bit more expensive than Amazon, but that's kind of the price you're paying for supporting independent. So it's a bit of a trade-off, but definitely worth having a look at. And again, we'll put the link to the news article from The Guardian and also the website address in the show resources. But just before we kind of round off, the book club, I think we've talked a lot there about books that perhaps have that message that can be applied universally in life and kind of to careers. But I think we also just had a couple of books more career specific in terms of kind of practitioner textbooks or kind of tomes that we wanted to share as well. So Sabiha, do you want to kick things off there? I know that you've got a particular book that you want to share on that. Well.
I do, Chris, and I know you've got a copy of it, so you can wave it so that everybody can see what it looks like. If you haven't already seen it, because this is becoming fast approaching a classic. There it is, bright orange. It's the Careers Leaders Handbook. Now, obviously, this is for practitioners who are working with high schools and colleges, but I do feel that many of the principles within the book that was created by David Andrews and Tristan Hooley, there's some of the principles that can actually transfer across depending upon whatever age range of clients that you're working with. But essentially, the theme of the book is the importance of delivering good quality career educational guidance in schools and colleges. And we've all heard stories, whether it's yourself personally back in the day when you were in school or college, or perhaps maybe it's your clients now who you're connecting with who talk about poor practice. And we can, so why emphasize on something that's not being done well? I firmly believe that if we put our efforts and energy into creating excellence, and this is exactly what this book allows you to do, and especially now because there's never been a greater time. So this practicable book, which is packed with both theory and practical ideas, is great for those of you who are either new. So perhaps maybe you're a new practitioner to the world of career guidance information, and you're looking for, and you're studying right now towards a particular qualification, or perhaps maybe you're a well-seasoned practitioner, but you're looking now to update and upgrade your theory and knowledge. This is a great go-to book. I find myself referring to it on a regular basis. And there's ideas in there for those of you who have either even taken up or are thinking about taking up the role of a careers leader in your educational establishment. So that was my sort of career themed book. Dave, what about you? What did you pick as your choice?
So I just realised I was muted. Well, actually, I don't have a copy of the book here, but in terms of actual careers books, that it's just popped up in the chat. It's John Lees' book, How to Get the Job You Love. John Lees is a fabulous guy and a fabulous author, and it produces very readable, very accessible books. So anything by John Lees, I'm kind of a fan of.
Yeah, no, I would totally agree with that, Dave. I think, John Lees' stuff, Knockout CV, is very good as well on a kind of more practical, sort of transaction level. But there's some great stuff in there. And again, it links back to that idea of storytelling as well. And, John Lees, I know, talks a lot about narrative and you having control of that narrative. Yeah. And it's all coming back to books, and again, so I think before we finish, Dave, I will just kind of give you a final word on, I guess, maybe why we think books are so important. But just before I do that, to go back to somebody's comment in the chat earlier on, and we couldn't really go through this without showing this book. My choice for my kind of careers practitioner pick was indeed Creative Career Coaching Theory into Practice by Leanne Habit and Kira Bomford. And just to kind of echo Sabiha's comments, really, the reason that I like it so much is because, again, it's that mix of theory and practical. So a mixture of kind of like career learning theory, there's some kind of brain science in there, but also really practical tips in terms of how you would actually apply that in interventions with clients. A lot of stuff in there as well around kind of metaphors and imagery, which, I know a lot of us as careers practitioners really enjoy using, and we can kind of see why from what we've heard today in terms of the books that have been discussed. So just before we kind of finish and move on to the news section, Dave, I mean, obviously a lot of this information, a lot of the content we're talking about is now online. It's on YouTube, it's in podcast form, it's in video form. What do you think is then that alluring appeal of books to us? We had so many people comment today, and clearly books have still got that value. What do you think it is about them, particularly for us as careers practitioners, that keeps us hooked?
Well, I think it's the human brain loves a good story, and we can't but be drawn in by a great story, whether we're listening to it on Audible or whether we're actually reading it. And I think there is an element, and it's maybe come through today, that people like that sort of turn the page type of thing of a real book as much as the listening. I know I do, and I think telling stories. I still read stories to my teenage son at night, and some of the messages that come through in those books are just fabulous. And I think today has just shown, firstly, how much we all engage with them. And I think the value of us sharing these books, perhaps more proactively with our clients, actually, and pointing out the messages that they can get from them. And the other thing is my Christmas list has just gone like that now.
So your family know now, your wife knows now if she's watching this show, because obviously we've robbed her of your anniversary. So, she'll be watching this, she'll be going, right, Dave's Christmas list, I know exactly what I'm getting. And if she's going to be really awesome, she's going to go and use the website that Chris recommended about how we can support local shop and business owners as well. And I know there's a few more names that have come up as well. What color is your parachute? That's been mentioned, a classic. And I think, where was the other one? That was it. One of the Facebook users talked about Cal Newport's Deep Work, really good for strategies to combat all the distractions that we're exposed to and to finding ways so that we can concentrate on our work. Now, Dave, obviously, this has really got people talking, and not just about books, but also about the work that you do as president and also what you do as a private practitioner. So there may be people who are watching who are thinking, oh, I need to have a conversation with Dave, or I'd like to connect with Dave. How does one go about connecting with you, Dave?
Well, it's actually very easy. You just look me up on LinkedIn is probably the easiest and quickest method. A lot of people watching this show, I've seen the names go through, I'm already connected with. Drop me a message on LinkedIn is the easiest thing. Dave, linkedin.com/in/Dave Cordle, and that's it. So yeah, delighted, always good to connect with other people in the CDI.
Fabulous. Oh, Dave, sorry, I was going to say, Dave, thank you so much for jumping on and coming and joining us today. It's been an absolute lively discussion. It's been great hearing not only about sort of your personal journey and the fact that, this is your third career, what brought you to, and I think so many other practitioners can resonate with that, learning, fun information about yourself, but also as well, what books have inspired you and how you use them and the stories that, to inspire and innovate your practice as a career private practitioner as well. So without further ado, I'm going to jump into the CDI news. And so, as Dave mentioned, there's a few key stories that I want to go through today. So as Dave mentioned, do you know who your regional rep is? And if you don't, we're going to be including the link of where you can go to find out who your local rep is in the document, resources document that we're going to be sharing with you shortly. Then we have the 8 awards for excellence. The CDI Awards is coming up and nominations are now open. So you have 8 categories in total. There are 4 for personal achievement awards, 2 for best practice awards, and then 2 for research and technology. So the CDI are delighted to announce the categories for the 2021 UK CDI Development Awards, which will be presented online next year during a week of celebration starting from Monday the 8th to Friday the 12th of March 2021. And actually the closing date for nominations, so you have got some time, for entries is Friday the 8th of January. And as always, in your inbox you will be receiving, and you should be receiving, updates from the CDI. And if for any reason you haven't received any updates recently, then please reach out to the CDI team and they will make sure that you are on the mailing list. Also as well, we have the new look training and events email that is now being sent out to all of the members. The training events list are designed to meet the professional development needs of career advisors, coaches, consultants, career leaders, teachers, and work experience and enterprise staff working in the career development sector. Again, we will be including a link in that. Now, the idea behind the new look is that it's been split into 4 sections so that you can quickly identify the type of CPD that you're looking for, as well as all the webinars. And there is a whole host of webinars. So please, please, please do go over to the website and take a look. Even if it was that you checked it out a week ago or 2 weeks ago, constantly the team are updating and adding new webinars and learning for you. So if you're looking for training and CPD opportunities that are not currently available, so perhaps you have an idea for something, the CDI team are currently looking for ideas. So please contact Ashley at .bot@thecdi.net, who are currently looking for new ideas for the up and coming year. Now, also as well, we have the National Careers Leader Conference, Quality, Sustainability and Professional Practice. That begins on Monday the 23rd till Tuesday the 24th of November. So if you haven't already booked yourself onto that, please do so. Now, there will be 3 workshops running simultaneously, each during the different time slots between 1:30 p.m. and 2:45, and then 4 p.m. on each day. So the delegates will select their workshops on the day, and the full list of workshops and times is actually on the website now, including the full program for the workshops. And bio details about the presenters can also be downloaded. And we have our keynote speakers for the conference is Sir John Holman and Professor Tristram Hooley. That will take place on Monday the 23rd. And then on the Tuesday the 24th, you've got Nicola Hall, Director of Education, Careers and Enterprise Company, and Dr. Jill Hansen and Dr. Siobhan Neary, University of Derby. So I think that wraps up the news for the CDI for this week. So over to you, Chris, for the main news feed.
Fantastic, thanks, Sabiha. Yeah, what a great lineup for the National Careers Leaders Conference, as always. So yeah, really good to. I mean, unfortunately, I can't be there this year, but I think a lot of people will get an awful lot out of that. So a really quick kind of whiz through in the main news. We've got all of our usual kind of labour market updates in there. There's some great articles about the London Interdisciplinary School. So this is kind of starting next year. It's going to be a university that effectively will award degrees that are not specifically tied to one subject, but are project-based, so arts and science, but themed around for example, topics like climate change. So really interesting direction that they're taking. That might be something that we see become perhaps more prominent in terms of project-based learning as we move into the future. So well worth having a look at. Paul Gaunt and Elizabeth Turp have got a new podcast out called How We Care, which is all about the work that they do with practitioners. And the first episode is just out at the moment, Being with Emotions in Helping Conversations, which includes reference to Oliver Jenkins' article that he recently posted on the group. So do take a look at that. That's sure to be a really interesting podcast. There's some other great stuff in there around bookshop.org we already mentioned, so an article about the work they're doing in supporting independent booksellers, and also quite a good article in Refinery 29, which features contributions from Tristram Hooley and Kate Daubney, in terms of, has 2020 destroyed the concept of the career ladder? Well, I think most of us as careers practitioners would probably say we don't particularly agree with that idea of a straight career ladder anyway, but I think it's quite useful for sort of having those conversations. It's a really nice article to read through. But I think just to kind of round things off, there are 2 videos that I'd highly recommend anyone watching, not just from a careers perspective, but from a kind of a life lessons perspective. One of those is the concession speech from John McCain in 2008, the Republican candidate who lost out to Barack Obama. It's been doing the rounds at the moment on social media. It is an absolutely fantastic example of how to deal with setbacks and how to be magnanimous in defeat, accepting defeat. And it's just, and actually no reference at all to what's happened recently. It's just a wonderful video to show to young people, to anyone, a bit like you said, Dave, to share with clients. There's so much within there that you can apply to your own life and career. It's well worth watching. And of course, I think people will hopefully have also seen Joe Biden's acceptance speech, which I think for other reasons is a really nice, I suppose, kind of passage of speech in terms of the idea and the importance of bringing people together. But there's one line in there that I'd like to end on, which I think is valuable for all employers, individuals, organizations to live by. And he talks about the idea of leading not just by the example of their power, but by the power of our example. And I think that's something that we could probably all take away, any stage, any facet that we work at in life. So some great stories in there. They're all in the resources document as usual, including the book list that we've mentioned, Dave's books, Sabiha's books, and my books that we've talked about. I'll also add all of the ones that have come up in the chat, and we'll send that over, and Liz is very kindly going to upload that on the group this afternoon. But thank you all for watching today. Thank you very much to Dave for joining us. Sabiha mentioned. Thanks as always to Sabiha for joining me, being my co-pilots. And yeah, for those watching, have a great day, and we'll see you in a fortnight's time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.